I created a prank smoothie in the bustling town of Blenville. Smoothies were more than just a drink, they were a way of life. At the center of it all was my pride and joy, the local smoothie bar. I, Barry Blenderson, had built my reputation on creative concoctions, and I loved experimenting with new recipes. The crazier, the better, in my opinion. One day, I had an idea that would really shake things up, a smoothie so wild, so outlandish, that it would leave everyone talking. I decided to call it the ultimate fusion. My plan? To blend the most unusual ingredients I could find and create a taste sensation no one would forget, I went to the market, determined to find the most bizarre things I could throw into my blender. I ended up with a basket full of oddities: pickled beets, smoked oysters, chocolate-covered bacon, and even a jar of kimchi. For good measure, I grabbed a couple of exotic fruits whose names I couldn't even pronounce. The next day, I got to work. Setting up my trusty blender, I tossed in the pickled beets, oysters, and chocolate-covered bacon, feeling a strange mix of excitement and dread. As the concoction began to blend, an odd smell filled the air, a mix of seafood and chocolate. It was unique, to say the least. But I was undeterred. With a sense of both pride and nervousness, I poured the mixture into a glass. My first sip? Indescribable. It was salty, sweet, with a funky fermented taste that made me both cringe and smile. I couldn't quite figure out if I was horrified or fascinated. Naturally, I had to share it with my customers. When the first wave of customers strolled in, I couldn't wait to unveil my creation. Try the ultimate fusion, I said, grinning, hoping for excitement or at least curiosity. The reactions were instant, and they were not what I expected. Mr. Thompson, the town's grumpy accountant, took a sip first. His eyes widened, and he looked at me like I'd just dared him to drink poison. "This tastes like a dare," he said, his voice flat as he struggled to keep a straight face. Next up was Mrs. Johnson, the well-known food critic. I had high hopes for her reaction, but after her first sip, she practically spat it out. "This is an affront to all things smoothie-related," she exclaimed, frantically wiping her tongue with a napkin. To my surprise, the smoothie became an instant sensation, but for all the wrong reasons. People started ordering it as a prank, daring their friends to try it. The ultimate fusion turned into a party joke, something to laugh about over sips of disgust. At first, I was disappointed. This wasn't exactly what I'd imagined. But as time went on, I began to embrace the chaos. My smoothie bar became famous not for its flavors, but for its sense of humor. I even added the ultimate fusion to the menu as a gag, something for customers to challenge themselves with. In the end, I realized that sometimes, the funniest success comes from the most unexpected failures. And really, what's the harm in a little laughter over a not-so-smooth smoothie?